So this is going to be the first episode where we start off recording right after a little tiff between the two of us.
I think you overreacted with the tiff, but...
I agree I overreacted, but I do think you annoyed me quite a bit.
I don't know what I did that annoyed you, so if you want this to be a real healthy fucking therapy session, can you reveal what I did? Because I honestly got no idea what I did.
It just really got under my skin that I said... It pissed me. Honestly, I was fine until you stopped recording. That really pissed me off that you just said and hit stop recording. That really infuriated me.
Can I ask a question?
Okay.
And it's going to sound like I'm being sarcastic. I'm being slightly sarcastic. I'm not trying to piss you off because you sound like you're pissed already.
Okay.
Okay? I just don't know why it's okay for you to fucking have the control of hitting record and be fucking pleased. But then when I do it, thinking I needed to stop it for a second, that's a huge problem.
Well, I mean, 2 episodes ago, I got annoyed at you for stopping it while I was talking.
When did I...
And I laughed. And I laughed and said, "That doesn't matter. We're close enough to end anyway." And the fact that you did it again to start off the episode, when you just immediately hit stop record before you could even decide if it was a joke or if it wasn't a joke. You just immediately, I thought you weren't joking. You just hit stop record. So that pissed me off.
But it was 2 seconds in. The last episode, I know we were joking the whole time, but we thought it wasn't good. 2 minutes in.
And the reason it pissed me...
So I thought, okay, fine, maybe there's an issue. Let me just stop it fucking now instead of letting this become an issue on the recording.
Yeah, and the reason it pissed me off, like you asked, which I'm answering, is because you just hit stop recording and then you hit start recording again immediately afterwards. And then it's like, well, I'm not going to do the same exact joke immediately afterwards if we just literally did it and it didn't work out because you didn't understand what I was saying. Such a whole situation frustrated, which I think is pretty valid. I agree. I shouldn't have got so annoyed.
Yeah, but when I hit recording immediately again, it's because you rolled your eyes and fucking shook your head, everything else when I hit it again. So I tried to remedy the situation immediately.
Yeah, I think you should just not touch the record button.
Basically, I'm hearing is everything I do is fucking wrong. Everything you do is right. I should just really learn that lesson at this point.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you want, we can go back to the setup, the original joke I tried doing.
I know, because I said 15 things before, and I should have known exactly which one of those 15
No, this
things
was one of those instances in which where you decide to say, I'm going to throw 15 things at Alex before we start talking about the podcast, instead of saving it for the podcast to talk about. That's what happened.
Okay.
You also brought it up outside. I said, dude, just save it for downstairs. And then you came downstairs and start talking again. It's like, you just can't understand the command.
What did I say?
Hold on. You just can't understand that. When I say save for the podcast, it means we're going to record in 10 minutes. Don't talk about anything for 10 minutes. You're like, oh, I'll tell them everything else I was going to say. Save for the podcast. That's simple. You came down here, said your thing. I want to talk, but you just mentioned the thing to me. I started by saying, I need you to repeat that for me again. And you didn't get it. I was saying, also, you could have just said what instead of turning off the thing. I rolled my eyes, but you need to turn the thing off. I wanted you to say the whole entire setup for this thing was going to be saying, what did you just say? And you're going to say, yeah, I mentioned to the guy that we got a podcast. And I was going to say, it's kind of funny to me because you immediately after telling me that you told your friend that we have a podcast, you said that, but you kind of regretted it because you think there's a couple episodes where you've been a dick about it, where you've kind of insulted him a little bit. And then what I wanted to happen was for you to realize what I was talking about so I could say something. It's pretty funny that you choose on the day before he's going to be handing us our green to say, hey, by the way, there's a podcast line where I insult you. The guy who's always having a hypochondriac saying, what if it's laced and everything else? You're like, I'm going to put a little fuel on the fire. That's the joke I wanted to get into that you robbed me of.
I'm sorry.
It's fine.
It's a pretty funny joke, too.
It would have been a really funny joke, too, the first time, I think. Probably would have been hilarious.
Might have landed, actually.
Might have really landed. I think it could have really landed because you would think, oh, my God, that's hilarious. So it's the sloppiest episode we've ever fucking done because now it's the third star of doing it. I'm just going to save the first part and then cut out my fuck up and then go back to it again. And now the fact that I thought the problem was, I thought this is the first time in X amount of long episodes where I haven't had any sort of, substances in me, no vices whatsoever. And I thought, well, I'm out of the green, maybe I'll have a drink. And I can't open this fucking bottle of 1800 tequila. You tell me I'm fucking trying to twist this stupid fucking cap? I'm going to lose my goddamn mind. Thank you. And that's actually worse that you open it, so go fuck yourself for opening it. You should have just said, I can't get it either.
I was going to say I can't open it, but it opened up on the first try.
Go fuck yourself, okay?
Got the cap?
Do you see what just happened?
No, I didn't see what happened.
How often do I have...
Pinpoint
accuracy? Do you say I usually... Yeah, pinpoint accuracy. When I say I'm usually... How? Let's recap what's going on here, okay? I try recording an episode, you say go fuck yourself, Alex. Then we come back in here, and I just fuck it up. Then I come back in here a third time, it can't open up, and then your response is to say go fuck yourself again by opening its first try, then saying how easy it was to open. And then my fucking, my fail-safe here of always landing a shot, I throw a fucking paper towel across the room, and it hits the goddamn ceiling?
Maybe you're a groove.
This is the worst episode of all time. And you're thinking, like, when you said the last episode was a failure community, this is just a shitty fucking feeling.
I don't feel that bad, so I'm gonna continue where we were.
Yeah, we go right ahead.
I don't like the fact that in order for Buddy to get any sort of development, we have to ignore the fact that we already established he has 3 children. We have to wait till season 2 is what? When did Santiago come in? It wasn't the first episode, was it?
I don't know.
So let's just say it's 30 episodes in. 30 episodes into the show, and we have to invent a new character to become a surrogate child to this guy just so we can have development. He already has 3 kids.
3 children.
One of which is the main character.
That's a stretch. One of which who appears in the show regularly. One and 2 of whom have been on the show. Now, the more intriguing part was that you think that if they wanted to have a storyline of Buddy Garrity helping a kid play football, being a father to a kid, you think like, oh, maybe we should have made that kid not 14, maybe like 16, 17, and have it be that way. Have it where it's his son he's taking care of, not like, we'll just write those other kids off.
It's super weird they didn't think of that in any stage of the development of the first season because he's the only character who lives, breathes, dies by the Panthers football team.
And the fact that you think his son should be a character in general. You think that they'd have his son come around to the game, him being like, coach, he's playing on middle school, but he'll be JV next year, varsity the year after that.
100%.
One of those things. But the show's like, no.
We found out in this episode his fucking license plate is Panthers. I don't think Coach fucking Taylor's license plate is Panthers.
No, probably says I'm an asshole to every single person who I coach.
And we've bad-mouthed season 2 so far, a decent amount. Here are some highlights, though. I think the guy playing Santiago is fucking amazing.
Fantastic, yeah.
And it's honestly hard to watch any of his scenes without getting fucking choked up and teary-eyed.
Way too talented of an actor, whoever it is.
A. B. Buddy is a fucking
way too talented of an actor.
Stupid highlight.
Yeah.
Just under the radar throughout all of it.
Whenever they put Smash alongside Saracen, Smash
those
way
scenes
too enjoyable.
are some of the most fun scenes I think I've seen in the show.
Matt's new girlfriend, the live-in nanny, way too enjoyable.
Back to Smash and Matt, though, before you keep going on. Those feel so genuinely like actual friendships.
I don't get it.
I honestly watch those scenes and I think back, why were my friendships as real as this feels right now?
It's not fair. That's weird. The fact that how good Landry is and the guy from the one who's playing his father, how great they are together, the two of them.
It's a little stupid how good Jesse Plemons is.
It's like there's just a lot of this show. It's like the main characters are all right, but a lot of these supporting side characters are like really talented people.
That's the weirdest part. You just said the main characters. I feel like they established Coach Taylor's the main character.
Yeah.
Matt, whatever his last name is, the main character. We haven't seen much of Matt, like from the second half of season 1 onward, other than just has a couple scenes here and there. Coach Taylor, like you said before, is just fallen to the fucking background. He's so disconnected from every storyline. His family, he's not a part of all the Julie fucking Tammy background, their battles. He's not a part of any. He's just off doing his thing. I mean, that's beyond stupid, I think, considering how fucking involved every aspect of the show was in the first season.
How bad of a character is Julie though? Isn't Julie the worst? One of the worst characters ever on TV.
I think she is, and I can't figure out if it's because she's not a good actress, if the writing's bad, if the writing's inconsistent, or if it's just a combination of everything.
Yeah.
Because you guys didn't seem to like her in the first season. I had no issue with her in the first season.
I hate her voice, and that's honestly my biggest thing for every single character. It's not even a fair thing to insult someone for, but if you have a voice I don't like, I can't listen to you talk ever, under any circumstances, and I can't listen to her talk. And this is me sitting off where it's like, whoa, why you get off your high horse here? It's like I was gonna say, clear. You said maybe she's just not that fantastical of an actress. Mm. Maybe it's not the best writing. Well, I can say this. What we're gonna say here, right? The guy who did Jason Katims, the guy who produces the show, created the show, whatever.
Thank God you said that. Cause I know
some pretty good hit shows under his belt.
Yeah.
What I will say is Amy Teagarden works on Hallmark now, and I'm not. And again, who am I to say that? Well, get off my high horse. I'm just saying. I'm calling a spade here. The outlier is, one person went on to work on Hallmark, and that's I rest my case.
I forgot what he's done recently, but I looked at his
About a Boy, Parenthood.
Yeah, well, because I've been watching Parenthood too, and it's the same creator. I looked at his thing like a week ago, 2 weeks ago. I forgot the titles, but he's had like a new show like every 3 or 4 years. He's like created or helped develop or something. This guy's been involved for a pretty long time.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And
I gestured towards you to get your phone. Thank you.
But I don't know. Season 2 is up and down so far. I still got a lot of hope for it, but because the parts that I think really shine. But the down moments in season 2 are overwhelmingly down moments.
The real disparaging part here is that a couple episodes ago, if you recall, I said how whenever we watch Friday Nights, I'm coming downstairs with a Southern accent for a little bit of the day.
Mm.
And I didn't get to maintain that because I came down here in such a fit of rage when we started recording that I just boiled through the Southern accent. If I ended up including the first clip, I did say like Coach, I was like, can you repeat that again? I said with an accent, and then I tried doing it, but
well, this might make you feel a bit better. So there's 2 things you said so far. A, in terms of the whole speaking thing, you can't listen to certain people when they have a bad voice.
Yeah.
I'm trying to diligently listen to every episode to see how I can improve.
On that. I was hoping that'd be a setup for this. I'm glad you picked up on it.
Yeah, I'm all cylinders today.
I can tell.
I listen to every episode, or since we've started the last 30, whatever you want to call it. I'm trying to see where I can improve and get better. I can't stand my fucking voice.
Yeah,
and it's getting really fucking hard to listen to this sometimes because it's so. I mean, I don't know how it is for you and everybody else, but my voice, how I hear it, is so disconnected from how it actually sounds.
It's like that for everyone because when you're hearing your own voice, you're hearing it through internal vibrations against your skull versus when you're hearing other people's voices, it's sound waves through the air or whatever it is.
Well, the internal vibrations I think I got a pretty good fucking voice.
Yeah, but you don't like the way it sounds. Well, I was going to say, the weird part, what you're saying, though, is that after doing Twitch, by the way, go follow me on Twitch. Is that a blatant shout out? Yeah, it is. But do I care? No. So what I was going to say here, and also if you're listening to this, if you've gone through this 10-minute of atrocity of splice, restart, anger, you're already a fan, so you should go follow me on Twitch at Alex Yurasits. My point though was I used to also hate. I remember the first time I ever heard my voice. I think like ever heard I probably heard recordings before, but like the first time I remember hearing a recording.
I know the first time I heard it. Yeah.
My first time I remember hearing a recording of my voice was in Rocky Point in the computer lab. We had to do some sort of an assignment. I remember the assignment was at all, but I remember it was those shitty cheap headphones, little tiny metal thing on top, and just little they didn't fit your ear at all. Like the cheapest headphones possible, with a little plastic microphone off the side. And I remember we had to record our voice for some project. I remember hearing my voice, I'm like, that's what I sound like. And I was like 8. That was the first time I remember hearing myself. I was like, oh my god. I remember not liking the way I sound on recording. And then after doing, did I mention I stream on Twitch? Did I mention that in this episode? I don't think I did. You guys should follow me on Alex Yurasits. You guys should follow me on Twitch. I was gonna say, I remember after doing that for a year though, and like hearing myself all the time in clips and replays and whatnot, my voice has now met, and also listening to on the cast, listening to it through the headphones, my voice has now completely meshed to how I hear it internally as it's heard externally.
So I don't know, obviously, how it sounds for you, and I can't remember what it was like prior to you doing it. What was your Twitch again? Did you even mention you do Twitch?
No, I should mention that I have Twitch.
I should probably mention it too.
Yeah, Alex Yurasits Twitch.
So I can't remember what it was like before that, but I do agree. I don't hear the difference between your. Well, I guess I wouldn't because I'm not getting. That was a stupid point. I'm sorry. I wasted our time with that. That was a really dumb point.
That you would never.
Of course, I wouldn't notice the difference because I only have one set of vibrations going on.
So I'm really glad you got. You know what? That's good. You actually are 2 for 2. You mentioned. See, again, earlier I alluded to the fact that you're outside telling me this. I'm like, why don't you say it for the cast? And you're like, no, I can't do that. So what I was going to say to you is the reason why I brought up the fucking the voice thing because I was hoping. You'd be like, oh, I should talk about that voice thing we were supposed to talk about.
Yeah, I picked up
so
what you put down.
That's 1 for 1.
That's 1 for 1.
And 2 for 1 is your intellect of thinking that, oh, yeah, that's crazy. I hear your voice the same way, too. And the fact that I took you actually speaking out loud, that was a dumb thing to say.
I think you should get off your high horse for a second.
I can't, dude. I already started talking all shit on Hallmark, bro. I already established
for one split second, Robbie over here actually had like a competent, intelligent thought that he articulated for 30 seconds.
You know what heaven's like, Robbie? Try being God. Okay.
That's good. The other thing that I was going to say is you leave Friday Night Lights getting a southern accent. I leave Friday Night Lights going. Every episode, it's cliche and you can predict it, but every episode is like, this character is an underdog, and we're going to see this underdog get through the ranks.
It's getting a little annoying.
It's getting a little annoying, but every character you watch rise to the occasion, and all I think of is how many times did I not rise to the occasion? So I get really emotional and upset watching Friday Night Lights, and you walk out with a southern accent.
Yeah. We're having different viewing experiences. That's the
very different viewing experiences.
I do wish though that perhaps I don't know. I'm just thinking it might be better story wise if every once in a while the Dillon Panther football team did in fact lose a game here and there. I don't know if I'm happy that Santiago played well, but I don't know if I think Santiago should have come out and done so well. I would prefer if he struggled a little bit longer. The struggle bus, a couple more stops in the struggle bus.
I think a huge problem is there's just too many fucking characters.
There are too many characters. Also, the fact that whoever's creating it. Either it's whoever's writing it, either it's Jason whatever, or it's Peter Berg or someone else. Whoever's coming up with the actual football stuff has a very limited understanding of what football is.
Which is hilarious you say that because in the first season, those football scenes were some of the best scenes.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like...
They have a very, very, very small window of what they get.
Yep, it's the same fucking window every time.
It's so annoying how each game, they're like, we're down by 38 at the half. We won. It's like, how?
And I have no.
Because you know what happens in a real football game, Robbie? This is the crazy part.
I don't actually.
So they pointed on this episode, in episode 9, season 2. They were like, whatever the school. Name a random high school. Name any high school.
Like an actual high school?
Yeah, sure.
Miller Place.
Miller Place is going up against Dillon Panthers, and
no, they're not. That's so far across the border. What are you talking about?
The national championship.
Okay, that makes sense.
So the Dillon Panthers are going up against the fucking Miller Place.
Yeah, because it would be Miller Place against some Texas team.
What's their mascot? Miller Place.
Mount Sinai is the Mustangs. Let's switch to Mount Sinai. Mount Sinai Mustangs against the Dillon Panthers.
Yeah, that works. The only problem is I'll do with that, but I know what the thing. I'm picturing the red and like blue jerseys in Miller Place, and I know what it is, but I can't think what it is. So,
I'm sorry, I'm cutting you off. Did it bother you that going to school? This is actually pissing me off a lot. I just put this together, which is pathetic. We lived in Pennsylvania for 10 years, listening to every time about the Eagles, day in and day fucking out. What high school did we go to? Rocky Point High School. What the fuck was their fucking team? The goddamn fucking Eagles. And when you're in high school, maybe it's not all the high schools, but our particular high school at least didn't have any creativity in their logo. They just said, let's just use the Eagles logo.
Hey, they made it blue.
You're right. You're 100% correct. It's the exact same logo,
but it's
all
blue
blue and white instead of the green and whatever else the fuck they got.
It's actually completely different. It's a completely different color. But I agree. There's a chance that the NFL want to be scumbags. They could probably you guys are infringing on some things here. I agree with that. My point was gonna be though, it's like, you know, in most games, and they point out how prolific this passing offense was for the Mustangs against the Panthers, and then it's like, all right, well, when most teams get an absurd lead, you know, they kind of stop passing the ball. You know, they start running the ball to chew the clock out. So I'm just curious, in no circumstance has the Dillon Panthers ever been, how has the deficit never been unsurmountable? How they've never had a ball and they couldn't beat it? I don't understand, like, there should be enough time in the game if that team's competent to run the ball. You should be able to come back from 28-0. You're playing 10-minute quarters.
Unrelated, but kind of related. I get the fact that the football aspect is always going to be secondary because you really can't tell 100 different stories just through a football game.
Mm-hmm.
But the secondary aspect becomes so secondary.
Yeah.
It's like what you say. It's just we're basically just watching the same football scene every fucking week.
No, this episode was different. This episode had it where they were like, what if we show a defensive huddle for no reason with a character who's leading the huddle who we don't know? How about the person we have inspiring confidence
who the fuck plays defense
I don't know.
besides Santiago?
I don't know.
Have we ever followed a defensive player?
No.
Because I thought Landry was like you said, but he's not.
No, he should be. He can't catch. He can knock the tackle like, oh, you should be a tight end.
Can we go through it for 6? I don't think we've ever followed.
We've never followed a single defensive thing ever. Ever.
What about? Yeah, you're right.
No one.
Fucking stupid.
And we don't even usually have offensive huddles. We have a defensive huddle 3 times in one episode of the guy we've never seen before commanding. Who the fuck is this guy?
So you know everything about every show, though, and you know who's in the show, like a duration period.
Yeah.
Is Santiago going to amount to an actual character?
You know what's
or
hilarious?
Is he leave in season 2
you know
and
what's
it's going to amount
hilarious?
to nothing?
I don't know, and I've refused to look it up because I want to find out.
Okay, good.
Because you're right. Every show we've ever watched, I know every actor who's on it, before they're on it, how long they're on it, everything about this person. I don't know.
Because season 2 is really banking on this fucking one character, which is strange too. Because we introduced this guy through a character that no one likes because she leaves in season 3, and she's barely in season 2 as it is. I'm talking about Minka Kelly.
Jessica Adams, like her, she's in Parenthood.
Yeah, but she's barely in Parenthood. I thought that too. I remember watching Parenthood thinking she's in a lot of the show.
She's only 3 episodes.
She's in like 6, but 3 of those 6, she doesn't do anything other than just appear in the scene to be there.
She's like, Max, stop being a dick.
Yeah, pretty much that's all she does. It's really fucking weird.
She's like, Monica Potter, did you have sex with your husband yet?
But we got her, who's, I guess, a main-ish character in season 1, falls completely into the background when season 2 comes around, and she brings this Santiago character who's really the for some reason, Bread and Butter is the only thing I can think of.
Bread and
but
Butter.
He's the only like thing that's authentic from what season 1 established. That's still present right now, and we only just met him. It's like, how is everything riding on this fucking guy's back when he just came to the show 4 episodes ago?
Yeah, he's really talented. Whoever the actor may be. It's like when we were watching. So we were binge watching the Friday the 13th movies for Spooky Tober, and watched the first 4 of them in one sitting. Then watched 5, and it's like, wow, the first 4 movies had like maybe 3 characters I liked.
Yeah.
5th movie had 6 characters I loved.
Yeah, none of which was the main character.
No, that'd be too easy.
I want to talk about that too. I think this is going to end up evolving into a longer episode because we're flying through it right now, and we got a lot to say now. We got all the fucking Friday the 13th stuff. Friday the 13th. I don't understand how every character is so uninvolved with the main plot that's going on.
Yeah, it's weird that you have a movie going on where it's just because the problem is that in every other horror movie, it's usually where like the main characters usually realize something's going on pretty quickly. But in Friday the 13th, they flip it on its head and they have it where no character knows what's going on. They just all get killed one off at a time separately until the very, very end where the final girl realizes what's going on. Then she runs past the glory show of all the bodies. But like, it's just like you have random nonsensical scenes mashed with some honestly not even that great of kills half the time.
Yeah, and don't forget the fact that each movie opens up with the first 10 minutes of the previous one.
Yeah, each movie's 90 minutes, and they spend 15 minutes recapping. Yeah. So each movie's actually an hour 15. And the hour 15 is almost all, like I said, watched 4 movies. There might have been 3 characters I liked, and 2 of them just because they were really attractive. Okay, but this 5th movie, literally, I don't know any of the, I know Reggie was the kid, right?
Reggie was fantastic. His older brother was fantastic. Names, yeah. I really liked, I think it was Tori or Victoria. I forget what it was. The one that did the dance. I didn't like her in the beginning of the movie, but the more we saw her, the more she clearly brought some stuff to the fucking movie. I actually liked her a lot.
It was New Beginning, right?
Yeah.
Shit, Tommy sucked. Pam was pretty good. The final girl, I didn't mind Pam.
Good. The problem with Tommy was he's supposed to be the main character.
You're right. Tommy was really good. The actor was fine. It was fine. The character disappeared for. He wasn't even involved in the final fight. He just was there.
Also, the final girl thing with all these movies. The final girl is in the beginning of the movie. We kind of don't follow her until the last 2 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, I know, which is also weird.
It's like the final girl is just, oh yeah, now she's here.
Bob DeSimone, Billy, the guy who was doing coke, was like, ooh, as he goes. That guy was fantastic.
That guy was awesome.
His girlfriend, who was named
Lana.
Lana. She was great.
Yep.
Reggie was great.
His brother
Demon.
Yeah, I know the actor's last name he's a junior.
Nunez Jr. Miguel Nunez Jr. Yeah. His girlfriend was pretty likable.
Go back to the fucking Demon for a second. Demon is so amazing.
So good,
dude.
Movie. The characters in this movie were so good. It made no sense.
There was actually a lot of really good character acting in the 5th movie.
For no reason.
I can't remember the first kill.
The first kill, we like the fat guy, yeah.
Actually, I want to say that too. You've probably always had this because you've paid attention to acting a lot longer than I have. But I noticed, at least.
And hold on, I gotta say one thing. Everyone's saying that was really mean thing you stood there saying the fact. I'm like, no, it wasn't mean because the entire movie, his only character trait was it's like the 3rd movie with the guy Shelley. His entire character trait. You guys ever think, I want to watch a movie for an hour and a half where one character is not conventionally good looking, and instead of just ignoring that or not bringing attention, what if we have the character his only dialogue is to shit on himself? And
it's stupid too because Shelley clearly could act a little bit.
I know, but all they let him say was, "Well, they were going skinny dipping, and I guess I wasn't skinny enough." It's like, you guys, that's the lowest hanging fruit.
Yep, and he might
so not. I'm not mean for saying another kid because they did it first. I'm making fun of them for making such flat characters.
And they repeated that character in 5, who's I'm talking about. Yeah, and both guys might not be great actors, but they can
better than the rest of the cast.
Clearly handle more than they're being given. Joey's the guy in the 5th one. Yeah. I thought Joey was great. They gave him stupid dialogue and stupid scenes, but he made the most of it. Did it really?
Yeah. From Staten Island, represent.
That's sad.
Big time.
Because I really liked his scenes. I mean, all he did was try to pawn off a chocolate bar on people, but...
Yeah, honestly, I would have taken a chocolate bar.
Really fucking... Yeah, exactly.
Oh, also, Carol Locatell, the one who played Ethel, fantastic. The mother of the other guy, the one who was off... Again, these movies also love introducing you to characters who aren't attached...
That's the strangest part.
Not only is the principal cast very loosely attached to the actual story to begin with because they're just unaware what's going on. But then they also decided to throw them. What if we throw a couple of people who aren't even connected to those people? Like when we cut to those 2 random greasers. Also, this movie takes place in 1983. Those guys were from 1952. So those 2 guys were fine, but it's like, who are these people and why are we watching them get killed?
Yeah. And you said there's a lot of improvising going on in that one. The guy that got killed second. His whole improvised song nonsense.
Start the car.
I loved that.
It was good, but why is the question? You have such little time in a movie when you spend 15 minutes recapping the previous movies. Yeah. So it's like, why would you then add characters who do nothing except for die?
They're not related to the plot. They're not related to any of the characters.
No one finds out about it.
Exactly. They just pop, they get killed, and that's it. And you give them all this fucking screen time.
And it's like, usually, in all the movies when the final girl does her tour around the place and she sees all the dead bodies, those people weren't even there. Because they were, I don't even know where they got killed in proximity to the main place.
I think that happens, honestly, in each one of them so
It does.
Far.
Someone just dies nowhere near anything else. And it's ridiculous. And then the other ridiculous part about it is how good, though, that one line was where if the car ain't fixed, you're dead. That was good writing.
That was a good line.
Because you're right. If the car isn't fixed, which it's not, then he's dead, and he is dead.
Yeah.
And I refuse to accept that wasn't improvised. That's way too good for everything else we saw in that movie.
I wish we had the camera set up now, because you always bring up points about how certain lines, there's no way
it's in fucking possible for someone to have possibly wrote that down. The part where the cokehead guy, where I just forgot his name, the balding guy, when he's like, and then the coke falls into his hand. They didn't write. He reaches up to the visor, pulls the coke out, says,
and that scene
catches it. That's not possible.
What is that scene? 5 seconds, maybe.
Yes.
That guy made the most of that 5 seconds.
I know.
He was on screen.
It's the same thing. The argument I always use for the best example of that. There's just certain things that I refuse to accept are written down, and I refuse to accept that it's anyone but the actor coming up with. And the best example of it is in Twin Peaks, the pilot, episode 1. Bobby is talking to Mike, gets called into the principal's office. Instead of turning around like a normal human being and walking to the door, he shuffles backwards, bouncing on left, right, with his shoulders moving as his hands are. He's like, and he's like, see you later. And he backs up in such a weird way. That wasn't written down.
That's why I said I wish we had the camera, because you do the impression
perfectly. Yeah, no, but I can't do that with the camera. Well, soon enough. If everyone goes to Patreon more often, starts let the camera back faster. What can I say?
And full circle. I said before I had 2 points I want to bring up. I said too, when we're watching shit, I'm noticing, at least from my perspective, how much I'm really gravitating towards people who just know how to act.
Yeah. That's the crazy part, too.
The second somebody can act, I love that character. You
instantaneously like the character because you see them being talented and good at their craft. It's like when you watch anyone who's a professional at anything. If you watch anyone, you take the most boring occupation, you watch someone who's truly passionate about it and good at it, like glass blowing. You think I give a fuck about glass blowing? You think I give a flying fuck about glass blowing? I don't. You want to show you introduce me to someone who's like obsessed with it and fantastical and lets me watch their process. It'll be fun to watch for a little bit. That's the same thing with acting. It's like the big problem with the Friday the 13th movie, where you can tell the amateur acting coming across, is that almost every character reads their words in such rapid succession with no up and down in their voice, no pauses and breathing.
Because I don't even think I knew what that issue was until you pointed it out to me.
Do you want to point out an example of how it's done?
It doesn't have to be specific to the movie. You just give any example.
I have examples for the movie. So if you want an example, guys, go watch Friday the 13th, Part 5, A New Beginning. Ethel is the example of good acting, and whoever the deputy cop is, that's the taller guy, that's kind of in the background behind the main cop, he's a bad example of acting. So you're thinking, why? All right. So the scene of bad acting is when the cop is throwing out the 2 teens of the car. Get out of here. Go over there and do your thing, wherever he says. Whatever his dialogue is, right? He has like 3 different sentences, and now usually a sentence... Think about when you're reading a book, Robbie. When you're reading a book, do you just go, I gotta find something to read quickly. Give me a random thing. Okay.
In the bright light, I stepped out into the bright light of the movie theater. I had 2 things in my mind.
I meant like just
Paul Newman and A Way to Get Home.
All right, ready? Random Wikipedia thing, okay?
I proved your point. I paused.
You did. You're right. You did. Okay, ready for this? On Wikipedia, other sites running on them, like. You don't do that when you're thinking when you're reading a word too. If you're reading it, it says like on Wikipedia, and especially running websites like MediaWiki. It's the worst sentence of all time. Let's try that one more time. Okay. I click on a Wikipedia page. There's nothing to show here. Nice. This is a joke and a half. My point was going to be this: when you're reading something, between sentences, you pause and you break and you think and you do things. This actor had 3 different lines of dialogue, and they came out as 1 line of dialogue. They came out as 1 conscious thought, and you're thinking like, well, you should be thinking. No. It came across like he was saying it like as fast as he could to not forget what he had to say. Versus Ethel, who has the line talking to the guy who randomly comes up and says, hey, can I come eat dinner with you? And she's like, yeah, you clean the shit out of the hand coop, you can come and eat chicken, you can have chicken with us, or whatever she says. My point is, when she says that to him, she pauses, she thinks, she responds, she points over there, she pauses again, and then she finishes her sentence. And that was great because I felt like it was a person thinking and having a conversation versus these other morons who are just like going through A to Z as fast as they possibly can. And it's like, just no one comment. Can we get a second take? Can you maybe not just speed through that one?
I was going to point out the pointing thing because that lady, what's her name? Ethel?
Go get the ice pick.
Nice.
That Nixon guy's on TV again. Ethel. Go get the ice pick.
That Nixon guy's on TV again.